Great rising, beautiful beings. Great rising. Okay, so, nobody can never get their numbers right with how many people in the United States, okay? Now, we're talking about the verified people, okay? People been saying, I've been posting videos that show that people say certain areas there's a population of 500 million, but only 30% of the people are real humans. Like, it's weird, right? So this Asian guy was saying, there's only like 600,000 people on the planet. Like, real. That came from Adam. Adam Kokum. So I guess it's some type of energy, right? And something said, it's all about the way you word stuff. So I said, how many people in the U.S. are verified? You wouldn't believe what Google said. Y'all, this right here, like, it should be able to tell us how many people are verified. Verified meaning like got a birth certificate, got a social security number. Y'all won't believe what this thing just said. I'm going to screenshot it and put it in the post in the community section too. Listen, it says as early as 2026, there is no single central database of verified individuals in the U.S. Say what? As of early 2026, there is no single central database of verified individuals in the U.S. That is telling you that they don't know how many people are here. But tens of millions have been verified, their identities through private sector services, government platforms, and social media platforms. Are you fucking kidding me? Social media platforms? You're using social media platforms to calculate how many people in the United States? Y'all, something is seriously wrong with these people that govern over us. Key figures regarding verified individuals in the U.S. ID me, 70 million. LinkedIn. I'm sorry, y'all. I got that instant in here. The Aaron. Okay. It don't even want me to talk about it. Why would it even explain it like this? Do you know all this new age shit? I'm about to say them again. This they top 5. That thing was supposed to tell me the central. They worried about having central money, but they don't have central count of the people in the United States. Oh, we about to have problems. ID me, 70 million. LinkedIn, 100 million. But this could be the same people over and over and over. Out of that 70 million, they could be on LinkedIn too. So you can't add these numbers together. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Meaning Burger King could have 1 million customers. And McDonald's could have 1 million customers. They could be going back and forth from McDonald's to Burger King. Does that mean it's 2 million people? No. So ID me got 70 million. LinkedIn got 100 million. Passports approximately 45% to 50% of Americans. Roughly 170 million people hold a valid U.S. passport. Security clearance. Now you hear what they said. 45% to 50% of people, Americans, have a U.S. passport. So they say roughly 170 million. So let's just say that's 45%. So let's make it 90%. That's only 340 million people in the United States. Somebody been lying to us. Somebody been majorly lying to us. And why the fuck we keep being at 8 billion people? They've been saying we've been at 8 billion people the last 20 years. Passports, approximately, 45% to 50%. And that's at 170 million people hold passport. Security clearance, around 4.2 million people. The security clearance people could be on ID.me, can be on LinkedIn. This don't mean that that's 5 million people on the planet. 500 million people in the United States. They say E-Verify. Millions of employment records are checked annually via the federal E-Verify system, which checks against DHS and SSA records. Identity document availability. Approximately 9% of the U.S. voting age citizens. 21.3 million. Approximately 9% of U.S. voting age citizens. Do you see they're saying only 21.3 million people are voting? Y'all been played. Online age verification due to new state laws. Millions of, they still not saying. Do you know they don't have a central location to tell you how many people are in the United States? We're not talking about tourists. We're not talking about people on a visa. We're not talking about people that snuck in here. We're talking about landowner, homeowners, apartment renters. We're talking about people who have a birth certificate and social security number. They cannot give you a central location number. They don't even know we exist. Remember a long time ago, I said a man came to the house, tall man. You could tell he worked for some type of federal agency. And he was like, how many people live here? And I said, we don't live here. We're fixing the place up. How many people live here? What about this address? I said, bro, my bro had just got out of prison. My brother had just got out of prison. I said, man, show him your Georgia food stamp card so he'll know don't nobody live here. Because I still had California license. My brother ignored him and tied his shoe and walked away. He said that he was taking a census. And I'm like, there's no way you could be going from house to house to take a census. That's impossible. So the man, and he was like, I'll report you. Y'all will go to jail. I said, listen, do what you got to do. I told you we don't live here. So they have no accurate way of knowing how many people in the United States. I'm going to screenshot it. You can read it. Matter of fact, let me screenshot the question. You can read it for yourself and go check yourself. How are we supposed to be regulating and controlling other countries and we don't know how many people here? And it's by design, y'all. It's by design. That means if you pop up missing, you disappear, you become trafficked, nobody knows. Does that make any sense? Think about it. Think about it. I'm going to ask the question one more time, and I'm going to read the top thing. How many people in the U.S. are verified? As of early 2026, there is no single central database of verified individuals in the U.S. But tens of millions have been verified their identities through private sector services, government platforms, and social media platforms. The fact that they're using social media platforms to count people is disturbing. They're using that as a database to count people. And how can you use a social media platform to count people when people have multiple accounts? Do you know how many people forget their password, get locked out of their email, lose their phone? Do you know how many people? Do you know how many people got multiple accounts, fake accounts, sneaky accounts, stalking accounts? Hell, I got multiple YouTube accounts for different purposes, for different avenues. What you mean? Why you just can't tell us how many living people with birth certificates are in the United States? Or why you can't just tell us how many living people with social security numbers in the United States? What you mean? Why are all these new platforms counting individuals? It sounds like people in this country know something we don't. And verified, maybe I asked the question wrong. That's verified. So they saying those are the ways you get verified. Dang. Okay. How many people in the United States that are living have a social security number? More than 300 million living Americans have an active social security number as of early 2020 since the program's inspection is 1936. Program's inception. The Social Security Administration has assigned approximately 531 million total social security numbers. Hey, yo, are you listening? They've been open since 1936. And since 1936, they've only had 531 million social security numbers. Are you listening? Are you listening? For them to say more than 300 million, that means it could be 300 million and one. It ain't many. Now, don't you think that it should be doubling and tripling? Or are they doing a good job of population control? Something ain't right. Since it started, there have only been 531 million people total. And almost 100 in 10 more years, Social Security will be out 100 years. And you mean to tell me it's only 300 million living Americans? And you started out with 531 million? Some ain't adding up. Where did they all go? I know they passed away. I know they died. But didn't they all have children and more children? Like, what happened to all the project children? What happened to the children having children, babies having babies? Where are they? How many Black Americans have Social Security numbers? There is no official data explicitly counting how many Black Americans have Social Security numbers, as Social Security numbers are not tracked by race. However, the U.S. Census indicates a Black or African American population of approximately 13%, suggesting a high correlation with the general population near universal coverage for employment. How many people were born in the United States in 2026? While final birth certificate data for the full calendar year of 2026 is not yet available. The CBO estimates that the total fertility rate in the 2026 will be 1.58 births per woman. There is a continuation of downward trend. For comparison, slightly over 3.6 million births were recorded in 2025, which was a decrease from 2024. So they're expecting the birth rate to get slower and less. (2026) demographic projection. Let me screenshot this. Yeah, this is real population control here. 2026 demographic projections. Various agencies provide slightly different projections for fertility rates in 2026. Though most agree on a general decline, That means everything that they're doing to slow down the birth rate is happening right now. Various agencies provide slightly different projections for fertility rates in 2026. Various different agencies, though most agree on a general decline. Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, projects a total fertility rate of 1.58. U.S. Census Bureau projects a slightly higher rate of 1.63. Social Security trustees project a rate of 1.65. So basically they saying each woman can have 2 pregnancies in a year. That's what it sounds like. Factors influencing birth numbers, declining rates. Fertility rates have generally fallen since the peaking in 2007. Largely due to lower rates among women under 25. The 2026 projected rate of 1.58 is well below the replacement rate of 2.1 required for a population to replace itself without immigration. Oh my God. They say it's well below the population to replace itself without immigration. So what they're saying is the United States citizens are not having enough babies to replace itself without immigration. I'm going to screenshot it. Go to the channel to look at it. Delayed childbearing. While rates of women under 30 are falling. Wait a minute. While rates for women under 30 are falling, the fertility rates for women aged 30 or older is projected to increase to 0.85% births per woman in 2026 as more women delay starting families. Mother's place of birth. The CBO projects a fertility rate of 1.53 for native-born women in 2026 compared to 1.79 for foreign-born women. Diversity in births. Projection for the 2024 to 2026 period indicates that approximately 50% of babies are born to minority groups, while 49% are born to non-Hispanic white mothers. That's about equally, 50.4% and 49.6%. That's only off by like 0.8. The U.S. population is projected to reach approximately 349 million people by the end of 2026. Listen! Man, we've been so lied to. The U.S. population is projected to reach approximately 349 people by the end of 2026. However, the growth rate is slowing significantly with an increase only of about 0.2% or 0.5%. Man, each city should at least have 10% of pregnant women. So you mean to tell me in 10 years the population can't create 100 million babies? Something ain't right. In 10 years. You got in 10 years one woman with 5 babies. That's just in the black population. In the black population, out of 100 women, 70 of them at least got 1 baby. So I'm trying to figure out if they're supposedly supposed to be... Hold on. How many black Americans in the United States? 49.2 million. Look how long it took the population to grow. The black population is growing up from 336 million in 2000 to 49 million. That was 25 years ago. That was 26 years ago. So you mean to tell me in 26 years, only 13 million more black Americans? Do you know how bad that population control is? Man, y'all is not paying attention. Y'all not paying attention. Y'all need to start asking these questions, writing these numbers down. 36 million black Americans in 2000. And it's been 26 years. And they have only went up to 49 million. Do you know what 49 million is? That's 13 million people in 25 years. Let's do the math. 13 million divided by 25 years. That's 520,000 babies a year. That's not enough. You should be at least having 1 million babies a year or more. I'm sure it's over 5 million women who can have children. Black women who can have children. Especially the youthful ones. High school, college, young adult. $520. My hand itching. Something going on. Something ain't humanly possible. Everybody I know got a baby. Everybody I know got a child. Oh, shoot, the dude across the street from me got 13. Ooh, child, 7. The man around the corner got 27 children. Ain't no way, y'all. Ain't no way. Start asking questions and looking at the numbers. I'm about to screenshot that. Matter of fact, I did 25 years. We at the 26-year mark. Hold on. It's going to be lower than that. Watch. Yep. It went from 520,000 to 500,000. Yeah, something ain't right, y'all. Only 500,000 children a year in 26 years. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. Let's look at the white population real quick. How many? As of 2024, there are approximately 195 million non-Hispanic white Americans in the United States, when included individuals who identify as white in combination with one or more other racial groups. The total white population rises to approximately 254 million. Now, you know how scary this is, right? When they came here, it was black people here. And they got the population down to 49 million or 36 million. Paper genocide, actual physical genocide, population control at its finest. And then they say Hispanic whites. That is crazy. I'm going to get off here. They have no verified database of how many U.S. citizens they got. How many sovereign citizens are in the United States? Precise numbers for the sovereign citizen movement are difficult to obtain because it lacks a central leadership hierarchy or formal organizational structure. However, prominent organizations that track extremism and government agencies provided estimates ranging from 100,000 to 500,000 adherents nationwide. Estimated adherent population. While exact figures are unavailable, several organizations have provided the following estimate. Southern Poverty Law Center Estimated approximately 300,000 individuals identify as sovereign citizens. Some early or broader SPLC estimated ranges 300,000 to 500,000. Anti-Defamation League reports there may be as many as 350 and 400,000 adherents, though not all are equally active. Other estimates, various academic and law enforcement reports suggest a range of 100,000 to 300,000. Movement growth groups. It's a lot going on, y'all. Movement growth and groups. The movement has seen a growth spurt since 2020, fueled by political divisions and anti-government sentiments related to the C-19. Documented groups in 2024. 91 active sovereign citizen groups in the United States. They got groups. Demographic shifts. American state nationals. More sovereign citizens. A branch that believes they are the original inhabitants of the U.S. with ancestral ties to Morocco. Social media following for these groups is estimated between 3,000 and 6,200. The Federal Bureau of Investigation considers the sovereign citizen movement one of its top threats. What? And labels it a domestic terrorist threat. Adherents believe they have separated from the United States and are not required to follow federal or state laws, including paying taxes, registering vehicles, or obtaining driver's license. This ideology has led to violent altercations with law enforcement between 1983 and July 2020. Sovereign citizens killed 27 law enforcement officers. What? Y'all better pay attention. Do sovereign citizens pay taxes? Sovereign citizens generally do not pay taxes, as they believe they are not subject to federal, state, or local government jurisdiction. They often argue that tax laws are contractual agreements they have opted out of, or they are sovereign individual immune to tax obligation. Courts have consistently rejected these claims. You know, they say these plates are sovereign citizen license plates legal. These plates are often feature phrases like private property or sovereign citizen may resemble legitimate state issue plates, but they are not legally recognized. And let me tell you something. It was an Asian guy driving with plates from another country. It was in their language. And he was driving. So never let them tell you you can't use the plates you want to use. You document your plates and use whatever plates you want to use if you're driving in private. You literally have people from Australia, Asian countries that bring their vehicles over here and use their own plates. They never register the vehicle. I pulled up to a truck stop. I was in my camper. I pulled up to a truck stop and slept beside an Asian guy in one of those little vans. And he had Asian plates. And I think I took a picture of it. I was like, what the hell? He was asleep. So don't let nobody tell you you got to have plates from your state or whatever. No, you don't. So there we have it. I'm going to leave it there. start asking questions. The numbers not adding up, and they ain't got no central database. They don't. And they took verified to a whole nother level. You should be verified with your birth certificate and social security number. Why do you need a second and third website to verify you?